Okay, let's say your client is a psychopath and he wants you to create a pair of rabbit ears. Okay, from the front view, I create a spline curve and I make something like this. And now I can shape them, shape the 4 points I have created with the spline curve. I will make the second point tangent to the first one by dragging along the x-axis and pressing Ctrl, so the second one snaps to the first one. Maybe I make something like this from the front view. And from the right view, I make something like this. Next step is creating some center circles along this curve. Okay, let's take a center circle and create one here at the bottom, snapping here at the center and binormal. That's important. That's the first circle. The second circle somewhere here. And again, this curve should go through the center of the circle you are about to create and normal. The third circle can be here at the top. And this one can be again smaller than the second one and binormal. So let's see what we have. That looks okay. I said 3, but I have to have 4 center circles. Let's create one here. And this one should be slightly smaller than this one, but bigger than the one at the top. And if we loft now, we get something like this, which is okay, but I will test also another way, and that is creating a guiding curve with the spline curve, snapping at the edges of these circles. So let's again loft, selecting the circles one by one, and now I will select my guiding curve, and here you can see that I get a much more beautiful curvature. Okay, that's okay, but I will delete this sheet I have created with the loft and continue creating some curves. Therefore, I select the 2 curves and the 4 circles, Alt-X, mirror them. Go to control point, select the control points of the spline curves I have created at the end and loft them. So I can also create the middle part, G2 or G1, let's see. Which one looks better? That's G2. We can even go with G3. And I will go with G1, and you can play with the tension by pressing D. And I think that looks okay. I will go with the G1 and I will create another circle here at the center. But this time not a center circle, but a 2-point circle. And the 2-point circle lives also here under the center circle. If you click and drag, you can select different types of circles. Go with a 2-point circle. Create one here, starting here at the middle. And drag a 2-point circle which has approximately the similar diameter as this circle here at the top. And while creating it, press V for changing the direction. Here, this vertical horizontal thing. And okay, select these 3 outer curves, so these 2 outer curves and the one in the middle we have just created, and join them, so we have 1 curve. And now let's repeat the loft with all the circles we have just created. And select them one by one with the correct order, and press L for loft and Shift for selecting the guiding curve. And that's what we have. And if you don't like this, for instance, we can always go back and play with this 2-point circle here at the top, playing with the scale. And I will repeat the process. Select them one by one with the correct order, otherwise your loft will look weird or it will break, it won't work. Press L and select the guiding curve. It still looks a little bit weird here at the top, so that's why I will create a 2-point circle here from the front view and press V and mirror this one to the other side. And again, repeat the loft. And select the guiding curve. Yeah, and this one looks better. And I press OK. Now I deactivate the curves. and I create an isoparam curve. But before creating an isoparam curve, let me first convert this sheet into a solid by closing these holes with Shift J, G0 continuity, and here as well. And I will lengthen these faces. And let's type in something like 1.5. And I will do the same here. Let's look from the front view. And now we have some stuff we can cut. Select the solid, C, select the cutter. Again, hide the curves. Or let's do it like this. Select all the curves, Ctrl G, put them in a different folder, call it construction or whatever, and deactivate them so they don't get in our way when we work with curves, because we don't need these guys. Okay, next step is creating an isoparam curve. Actually, we need two of them. Create one here, this mid edge, and we need another one here at the back. I'm eyeballing here. And let's duplicate the first isoparam curve we created. Shift D so we can work with the curve. Shift H for isolating this guy. And now I want to divide it with a line. And I have a shortcut for cut curve. And I won't tell you my shortcut because these are Turkish letters, so they won't be of any use for you. So you can find your own shortcut. And now I will create another spline curve, which I will use for the loft. And I want to start at the same height as here. So when I select the spline curve and come to here to this end curve intersection thing and press shift, I get a guide, and I will use this guide for starting my spline curve at the same height as the already existing curves. Now I will keep on adding points, and I will do the same here at the bottom as well. I snap to this, press shift so I have my guide, and I click for the last point of my spline curve. And now let's bring this guy, the top point, let's snap it to this point. We could have done it right away, but I thought I can get away without it. And let's try our loft. And you see it works. Now we can fine tune, escape, right view. I think that's okay. And now let's loft these guys. And that's what we get. And I'm happy with it. And if I bring back the solid, I have this situation. I will create a similar sheet with this isoparam curve we created here at the back. So let's select this guy and do the same. But before doing so, let's take all these curves and put them into the construction folder so they don't get in our way. Again, select this isoparam curve, Shift D, okay, and I will isolate this guy. I go with the right view, I'm used to it. And now I will again create a spline curve, but this time, let's first split this one, divide it. Let's look from the right view, and again, create the spline curve. And this time I will start right away by snapping to this top point. And do something like this. Again, this spline curve should consist of 4 points. And the fourth one can again snap here at the bottom by pressing shift, creating a guide. So that's what we have, and we can do our fine tuning. Okay. We can loft, and it works. Press OK and bring back the sheet as well as the solid. And that's what we have. So select both sheets, Shift H, and let's turn them into a solid by lofting these parts with G0 continuity. Okay, I do it the same here as well with loft and G0 continuity. And let's take this guy, but this one should be G1 continuity. So we have here a smooth transition. And now we have 4 sheets. Let's take all 4 and join them. And it is still a sheet because this part here at the bottom isn't closed. So let's do that. Select this edge loop, Shift J, G0 is okay. I press OK, and now this one is a solid as well. Bring back the other solid. And that's what we have so far. And now let's take both solids and run the union boolean, pressing QQ and OK. And now we have only one solid. And if we hide the edges, we have this situation. And if we show the edges, select this edge, these three edges. I hope for being able to fillet this, but it's not working. So that's why I will duplicate this edge, run the rebuild, and go with the points method. Type in a high number, something like 200 will do the job. Select this guy, P for piping this guy, and make it a big fat pipe. Let's see if we are looking good. Yeah, we are looking good. And select this face, extend it so it sticks out of this solid, and do the same for the other face. And now we will make a difference boolean, but before doing so, let's make this the other solid to a sheet, because let me show you what happens if we make a difference boolean right away. So if I select this one, the main solid, press Q and run a difference boolean, we get this face, this inner face, but I don't want this. You can select this face and delete it, or let me show it the second way, which is more convenient in most cases, but in this case it doesn't make that much of a difference. I select this face at the bottom, Shift X, delete it, so it is a sheet. And if I now run the difference boolean command, we get a hole right away, which is more convenient. Like I said, in this case, it doesn't make that much of a difference because it's a fairly simple situation. But in more complex situations, it's a better idea to convert the solid from which you want to subtract first into a sheet by deleting a small sheet and run the difference boolean after you have converted this one into a sheet. I hope it makes sense. It sounds a little bit complicated. And now let's see if we can get away with simply lofting these two edges with G1 continuity, and I think that looks okay. And since this is supposed to be a quick tutorial, I won't make any further adjustments. I take these three sheets and join them. And I select this edge loop, Shift J. Okay, it makes a drama type of patch hole, but that's okay. I will go with this one. Look from the front view, create a line, delete the junk, and I have a clean face at the bottom. I can delete the cutter. And of course, since our client wants a pair of rabbit ears, we can make this final thing and mirror it to the other side. And if we hide the edges, we have this situation. And the overlays, hide the overlays. And then you can create the head and bump these guys into the head. That's why I haven't filleted the bottom faces. And if you want to see a complete rabbit head, just type in yes in the comments. Peace!